in Brazil this time. Still Dolson Kresnik with me for our seconds of the day. I got to get used to pointing the other direction. You're over there, Kresnik. But you're here with me right now for Ignite versus Fatal Ambition. I kind of levied this question to Gore, and we'll get a look at it here, the rest of our schedule for the day. And we'll see the standings in just a moment over in Brazil. Do you think that this matchup is lopsided, or do you think this one has the potential to be somewhat close?
I think on paper, it looks like it could be lopsided, angled kind of towards Ignite with how well they've been playing, I think, in the weeks coming up to this. But look at Fatal Ambition. Forfeit week 1, so they started low on the standings because 3 people left the team before the season started. Parallax the week after, but they were putting up a fight with Parallax. I mean, it was a 3-0, but every map, they had some sort of bite on it towards them. So Fatal Ambition, I think, might be able to do something against Ignite, and this is a decent, I think, kind of litmus test for them and how strong they're going to be looking here. I think if they're going to take a map against a strong team, it could be against Ignite. We get to see how Ignite kind of end up performing against these teams that are maybe a little lower on the tier.
That's right. It's the 2-0 Ignite versus the 0-2, looking to build on that Fatal Ambition. Splitstone Quarry is where we'll head for map number 1. So we saw this one in our previous set. Traditionally a little bit slower, but sometimes you just get overwhelmed. You get 4-1'd. And that was unfortunately the case over in Europe to start off the day. So over here in Brazil, is that interesting at all to you, though, Kresnik, start off a set on Splitstone Quarry, or does it make some sense?
I mean, it's a map that some teams tend to like. If you think you guys are going to have a priority on it, why not pick it, right? Ignite, first pick here. We assume it's their choice, so they think it'd be Fatal Ambition on it. Just go to it. They might play those mobile flankers, potentially against the controller DPSs on the side of Fatal Ambition, so possible advantage there. And for those controllers, they're going to be banning Natalis, and Fatal respond with a raw ban, so a potential super aggression still in the picture, but not as effective with ROM banned, and Talus and Vivian just a target, not PS1 and headed on the other side.
How about Ruckus? We saw Ruckus pretty consistently over in Europe to start off the day. Do you think that is a EU-specific kind of pick there? You don't imagine maybe that trickles over to Brazil at all?
I think it's being played in NA, but it's highly prioritized in Europe to cover that gap and kind of have those dive comps get enabled. But I don't see it too much outside of Tier 2 North America and high up in Europe. I think it has potential, though. Teams just want to play towards their comforts, the more consistent champions in that Ashe and the ROM that both get banned. We could see it coming here if that's the strategy that Ignite want, but with the Victor first pick, I don't think that's likely. That's a poke to start it off. Great on Splitstone, able to kind of play on that high ground, but he's going to be contested by this Andro and whatever off-tank Fatal Ambition bring in the picture to support him over there.
Yeah, I think a small win already from what we saw earlier in the day split up the Victor and the Androxus, because having them both on the same team was just way too much to start off our day here. So I think, if nothing else, a win there for Fatal Ambition. You've got Genos as well, bump up some of that damage output. Now, here's an interesting pick. We saw Buck a little bit, maybe a handful of times to start off the phase, falling down to that 16% pick rate. But when we have seen him, he's won 67% of the time. What do you think about Buck, and maybe specifically here on Splitstone?
This Buck is just going to be controlling the Androxus most of the time. He can't really get that aggressive with a Genos on the other side, having the ability to grip him out of his leap if he wants to go in. He can't really commit that hard, and he will have that Corvus to kind of amplify his sustain there. So bulk up maybe even a little bit more hard to burn through than it was before, now that he's backed up with that lifesteal and that constant healing. And I think he'll do well into this Barrack. I mean, he's not going to miss a headshot if he's fighting a Barrack, because Barrack is all head. That's 1,000 damage per shot, and Barrack self-sustain really can't keep up with it once that shield is down.
Yeah, Barrack's got the forehead for sure. Strix to round out the top 4 here for Fatal Ambition. So an Androxus to get in your face, do big damage. A Strix to lay back and do big damage. Seems like Fatal Ambition covering their bases somewhat well here. And Nara falls down to the 4th pick for Ignite, so trying to contest with that Barrack. Going to be difficult, though. You get the Luminary boost on the Barrack. Tough for Nara to fight back into that. Going to get some good healing, though, of course, from the Corvus marks as well. And then a Maeve. So Maeve, Buck both kind of fall into the same category of we see them every once in a while. Certainly not a mainstay pick. Shaolin as well. Hasn't lost yet. 21% pick, 37% ban. So interesting there. But I want to focus on the Buck Maeve first. What do you think of that damage duo with the Victor adding in an extra layer of damage on top?
I was a little excited for it because Buck can absorb the grip from the Genos, let the Mave commit onto that Strix, and they can pressure. But if that Shaw is stacking with them, that Sand Trap can do a lot to slow that down. The Cripple Arrow in the air, just deny Mave the mobility afterwards, get some follow-up with the Rapid Shot. I think this Shaolin is the perfect foil to what Ignite have drafted. It's just about how well they can stay out of the sideline of the Strix and burn down the point, potentially.
Well, the Shaolin has not lost yet in games where we've seen it. So putting that 100% win rate on the line is Fatal Ambition. Putting Ignite's 100% win rate on the line as well. Splitstone Quarry, map number 1. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch through, I think. Double, triple DPS compositions. Double kind of pocket marking healers, and then good point tanks to top it all off. I mean, do you argue this is even footing, or do you think that really that Shaolin kind of throws a wrench into what otherwise might be somewhat similar drafts?
I think that Ignite have the advantage on the point side with an Inara being pocketed by a Corvus. Barrack is going to do a decent amount of damage to her, but damage reduction, I think, gets in the way and makes it just too hard for him to really dislodge her without support from up top. If they can get through behind fast enough, push that, put not PS1 and RC Soldier back, don't let them fire on the Inara, they can win the point fight, but again, a lot of layers they kind of have to break through, but the first trade's going to be on this side, but Headed just waits. He's willing to sit there and watch, but he can see his shadow through that wall around the corner. Right. So Deja Vu just going to stare him down, and this actually gives advantage to the double backline team, I feel. Yeah, right. I mean, I guess you're wasting each other's time, if nothing else, so the rest of the fight going on elsewhere, 4 versus 4. At this point, I just want to see who makes the first move. Headed goes around the corner, finds the first shot up and over, but Deja Vu will find some good damage down on the back end of it as well. You talked about controlling this Androxus, and Deja Vu is absolutely doing that. Wins this small side engagement. The damage now being turned around, but look at the attention that Deja Vu is pulling. Not enough, though, as Ornstein will fall. RC Soldier, first blood, 1 minute and 45 seconds into the game. Fatal Ambition starting to overrun the lava side. Yeah, I thought the sustain would kind of pay off for Ignite as the game went further, but with RC finding the first pick, really showing that Shaw's ability to play, definitely tips the scales towards them a little bit harder, but they lose not PS1 up top from some pressure above. They have to fall back, and this Mave might just find this shot through the invis. Skeen turns around, first blood, picks up the kill onto RC Soldier. A bit of return to sender there. Now 51% in climbing for Ignite. Flash forces out the flashbang even, so down goes Mave to the low ground. Deja Vu gets the kill onto Headed as well. Groundford not in range to get the touch, has to use some of the Rocket Boots charges as well. A good wall from Penny, might buy Separator here. Cripplefield down, and Kubies will grab the kill. I believe it was the barrage from the backside, and Ignite off to a 1-0 start. Grumford used the dash to rotate earlier, and once that's gone, I mean, even with failsafe, Barrack doesn't have a lot of health once that happens, so he can't live as that goes through. Corvus, they're low, but Corvus might be able to re-heal in the heat haze right in front of Deja Vu. Nothing gets done. He falls, and Buck Wild's coming out too. And up he goes, looking for his third of the engagement, and Deja Vu has got it. Maybe a fourth around the side. Groundford able to roll his way through. 5 in a row, 4 of them in the last volley of kills for Deja Vu. This Buck starting to swing. I love seeing the Buck Wild kind of just be spent, even in those kind of, maybe, well, we pretty much have it done. We have 2 picks already, but it's Buck. I mean, it's Buck Wild. It just ups his DPS a little bit. Pop it. He'll charge it up fast enough. RC Soldier, again, I think going to be so key to this, countering these double flankers. Hits all the arrows on the airborne Mave, so great show of skill from him. Going to need that to keep happening, I think, if they want to keep up this pressure. And the way that Ignite are kind of slowing the game down, they have the sustain, so the long game, I feel like, is in their favor, as long as they can keep actually peaking their Corvus and keep their health topped off. Deja Vu low, but stays alive. Seed's going to make his way in. Look at this, kind of a 4-man rotation around the left-hand side here. Just going to be Kubies on the other side. Through time and space, won't connect here. Rubson down to Deja Vu. Seismic crash down to the low ground. Going to lock down RC Soldier as well. The flank, the trap has been sprung, and Ignite Gaming better off for it. Over to the side goes Deja Vu, but look at this. Not PS1, turns around a couple. Penny with the double is Groundford. He's going to use the Dome Shield here as well. Payload's inching itself ever closer. Deja Vu just looking for the dismounts here. Void Grip up, but behind a pillar, you can't follow up on the damage there. Somebody's got to drop down, and nobody did. You didn't have Groundford in time, and Ignite Gaming make it too. RC tried, but I think he just got chipped a little bit too far down. I think the biggest L of that defense, honestly, had to have been that Dome Shield being spent. There's really no reason to hold it there. You go there, delay point. He bought maybe 1 more second, and either way, if you lose the point, you'll have it for the next mid. If you don't spend it, if you manage to get the defense out and then you spend it a little bit later, at least you got the point out of it. But no Dome Shield and no point for Fatal Ambition, the worst of both worlds. Looking down a couple ultimates from Ignite. That Entropic Breach and the Barrage could combo together, potentially if they catch a less mobile target on the other side, with not a lot of engagement coming up from Fatal, just the Flashbang and the Heat Haze there to keep them going. I think maybe they have to be more aggressive. I think they want to just use that damage boost to burn through quickly instead of kind of playing this poke war. I know they have double backline, but I think Headed just might want to try to take more action on the side instead of just staring down the buck the whole time.
Oh my god, Groundford waddles his way in and immediately has to turn tail and get himself out. Way too much damage from Kubi's on the backline. Flashbang used here. Not sure what it connected on to. Up down from Deja Vu. Will force back RC Soldier. There's the Barrage, looking for a target from the back. Charges reset. No kills just yet. These long, drawn-out point fights continuing here. Deja Vu and Headed, they're going to collide once more on the left-hand side over by Lava. Down goes Roopson, though, behind him to make it an unfair 2v1. But getting collapsed on is Fatal Ambition. There are no kills just yet, but Ignite Gaming maybe have the space. Finally, RC Soldier gets the kill onto Deja Vu.
Deja Vu keeps absorbing so much pressure, though. They have to keep rotating so many people around, but are they going to actually make something out of this space? They're just poking them in the back, and they give up the point for it. Try to rotate. The wall doesn't find anyone, but still disengage, and they lose Ornstein on the side. Tonight's fight got a lot tougher, especially with double comeback on the side of Fatal.
That's right. 62%, climbing 4% every tick now. Headed Deja Vu. Big engagement here off to the side. Sustained from Deja Vu. Up, down he goes. Penny, though, off to the other side, is going to get the kill onto that Androxus. So Ignite Gaming now climbing back. Kubi's playing with fire there. 420 health remaining on the Victor as he tosses out their grenade. There's a Strix waiting for just maybe one more connection there. RC Soldier gets rid of Deja Vu again. The Shaolin finding some value. Barrage down onto the point. Through time and space from Roopson. That one's good for a kill. Big shots now from RC Soldier to force back Zeeds. And at 93%, it's going to be Penny spending his life to contest. Headed with a double, and Fatal Ambition are going to get on the board.
Great end of the fight by Fatal. The long game ended up working out for them. They just isolated Deja Vu. Once they forced out the recover from him, they were able to just collapse with everybody, and I think ended up working out perfectly. Exactly what they needed. They can keep getting that pressure. It could be huge, but they don't even need it, I guess, if he's just going to rattle off headshots like that on a Maeve.
Seismic Crash goes down, and so does Roopson. Penny will look to chase up on Groundford as well. There's a more sustaining mid-fight maybe from Groundford. I mean, this Barrack has had a brutal time going toe-to-toe with this Inara. And seeing more of it here as Penny is going to just kind of corral Fatal Ambition on back. Always worth mentioning, this is a defense from Ignite. Should you not care, should you get confused as where the fighting is happening here. I'm curious as what you thought of this Shaolin here up to this point. Do you think RC Soldier has started to hit that mark that they were expecting?
I think so. I mean, there's a reason he's being banned and picked as much as he is in Brazil, and soon to be in North America, I think, from what I'm hearing. A lot of players kind of picking him up. The burst for 1300, the ability to cripple flankers, it really does kind of hit the meta exactly where it needs to be hit right now. And look at that, Ornstein just wants to make a play. Shaolin from 100 to 0, completely alone, just deletes him from the game.
Yeah, Groundford on one side, tough time, and it's the Maeve on the other. It's being locked down pretty consistently here. The biggest opening of the game for Fatal Ambition so far. Maybe tie this one up. It's an accursed arm used. Won't find all that much on the back end of it. RC Soldier doing battle with Deja Vu and Ornstein. PS1 knocks down Kubi's. The Victor hasn't been able to get comfortable just yet either. Penny, last line of defense here around the payload. You can't get too staggered out here if you're Ignite Gaming. Spells disaster on the defensive side. Half HP on effectively everybody. Penny does stay alive, now getting some good healing. Finally goes down to Headed. It's the midnight popped for Ignite. Trying to keep things exactly where they are. Ornstein, though, has to immediately disengage. Headed was the one who finished off Penny just a moment ago. The respawns may be in time here, Kresnik, to take a deep breath.
And they can't actually get re-healed, so the little bit of poke Fatal was taking is brutal, but Ornstein, no! In the Void Grip, he misses every shot. And Fatal Ambition, I thought they were going to get collapsed on, but they have a chance to refight this.
That's right, Seismic Crash whiffs here through time and space. Same for that one. Deja Vu locked in. Few members of Fatal Ambition looking at him. Buck Wild used. Dome Shield dropped down as well. Penny throws up the wall. He's in contest range. Ornstein, Deja Vu both down. RC Soldier half HP. It might be down to Penny here. Victor is doing some good damage from the high ground as well, but not enough. Savage is RC Soldier as the payload rolls through, and we are tied. Fatal Ambition, what a turnaround.
Yeah, for sure. I thought that it was going to be a great collapse, but they completely pounced on the Maeve as soon as the Void Grip came in, being able to get that follow-up, I think, with the Shaolin rotating over on the side. The double backline at that point in the game, when you can't really come out of your spawn doors and get behind them at all, the double backline, that's where it's going to thrive. It's going to thrive when they can't really flank behind them. Fatal Ambition, I think, kind of proving that those rounds they took off of Parallax, even though it wasn't a map, it wasn't a fluke. I mean, we're seeing some good team play out of them, punishing what Ignite's trying to do. But Ignite have a couple options to engage here. Actually, maybe not. Kubi's has Barrage, but every time he has pressed E, he has just died. He got time and space, he got sniped, this man cannot land a single Barrage outside of in those desperate last situations. Maybe he just holds off on spending the ultimate and just plays the burst mode and hopes the range is enough to keep him up.
Look at the dash through here from Headed. Deja Vu immediately has to leap his way away. Barrage down. Will find some charges this time, but not PS1. Get rid of Penny early. So Fatal Ambition a chance with a little extra tankiness on their side to start to build up this engagement. And they've now corralled Ignite kind of back on their side of the ledge here. Kubi's very tense. You can sense that he does not want to poke his head up and over here. Does not know where PS1 is. Penny, though, gets the kill on RC Soldier. Maybe a small opening for Ignite to move in.
Yeah, and Barrick did buy some time on the point with 66% there for them. Look at this stalemate on the side. He's just waiting for them to come in together, and the double flank is how they have to play this, and it works out right away. Headed still low, can't get rehealed and goes down.
Finally, Kubi's is the one on top of the Strix versus Victor engagement, as Ignite Gaming will retake control of the mid. Whoever wins this one, a chance to win the game on the push. Seismic Crash didn't find much on the defense for Penny, but maybe good for locking down this mid-fight win. Groundford will throw down his shield here. Fatal Ambition fully restocked. Seismic Crash down. You stunned the Barrack, and Ornstein will finish off the kill. Now the Corvus ult down to the point as well. Overtime is on. Fatal Ambition are going to have to step into the damage there, but it times out. You don't have Groundford yet. So that's a big win now for Ignite Gaming. If Penny can stay alive, Deja Vu has a couple, and Ignite Gaming grab their third.
Well, with Corvus alive and the Inara alive with the Earthen Guard up, there was just no way they were going to burn through that. Even with their DPS, they hit everything, but they just tanked through it. Even with Cauterize 3, that bonus rejuvenate you get from that is brutal. And Ornstein 3 right now just wants to keep this rolling.
And it has been back and forth, up and down from Ornstein so far. So finally, you got to be happy that you've gotten a multi-kill on the board here, and what a time to do so. Get this cart halfway there with 2 minutes left. A barrage maybe from Kubi's to open up the door. That dome shield's going to be pivotal here. Krez going to be up here shortly. Fatal Ambition, they have the utility to defend with, but they might not have the lives. Luckily, not PS1 and RC Soldier turn around a couple of kills, so Ignite Gaming have to back off and regroup.
Yeah, the double backline in spawn helps significantly poking them down. I mentioned that's the place. This is the place in the map where they're going to be able to do the most, when they can't really get flanked and they can just kind of free fire down. Maybe it was just an overcommitment from Ignite, though. There was the Barrack waiting all the way back in the left corner. Didn't even have the shield because he spent it to live through the Maeve's poke. And the cart was far away. They could have waited and refought at the end, maybe just as the Barrack was getting that shield off. But now's the time with the cart moving again, and Buckwild comes in.
Through time and space, doesn't connect, but Deja Vu will go down. Headed and Rubson do as well. 3 members left alive for Fatal Ambition. Groundford, one of them. He has the dome shield. That'll buy time for the respawns to get back through as well. Ignite Gaming, though, full 5 in just a second. Waiting. Like this wall, yeah, give time for Deja Vu to get back into the fight here. Oh, but down goes RC Soldier. Look at the collapse there. Ornstein from up high. Penny from down low. Groundford might have to drop the dome shield. He sure does, but Ignite Gaming just backed themselves off. A Cursed Arm used. Won't find the kill. Instead, Headed is now the one who goes down. The mobility from Zeeds gets him out of the line of fire. Groundford is respawning in the next 10 or so seconds. Ignite Gaming roll the card on in. And they take the 1-0 lead in the set.
They just couldn't chase at the end. When that dome shield came out, yeah, it was great for buying them a little bit of time in terms of sustain. They were able to actually hold the card for a bit, but what happened is the rest of Ignite, they just back up around the corner. Corvus heals everybody back up to full, and then 3 ultimates come in immediately. When you have to use the dome shield from raw pressure and not ultimate pressure, that gives them such an opportunity to just go in full swing with everything else that they have.
Penny, I think, had a massive game, 10, 5, and 16 on this Inara. Plenty of kill pressure there. Ornstein, I think Ornstein in this game was like the definition of hot or cold. I mean, it was either Ornstein dies immediately into the fight or he runs away with it, triple kills, the Mave starts to get out of control. So I think a bit of a seesaw there maybe from Ornstein. Did a decent amount of killing, but you know, I love what I saw out of Penny. I think it's great that we're highlighting this Inara. Deja Vu put in some good work there as well. So Ignite Gaming have to be happy with the way this set started.
Yeah, I think so, especially with how Fatal Ambition were shown that they're able to kind of turn it around. But Ignite, I think, just had the answer for how things had to go near the end with the double flank aggression together. They saw that they were kind of deathballing, but if they sent in 2, they could break them in half. They could find the players there that had to go down, and Ornstein also connecting all the shots by the end. Definitely didn't hurt either, putting Ignite up 1-0 to start.
Yeah, and the seismic crash there at the end really sealed the deal. That's going to be the 4-2 win for Ignite, go up 1-0 in the set. Now Brightmarsh will move over towards for game number 2. Brightmarsh, a pretty fun map to follow along with, I think, and Androxus kind of comes to mind here. We've seen Andro sort of at the top of the pick ban meta so far, and Brightmarsh absolutely a map that can work for him if left available. Ignite again in this first pick slot.
Yeah, I guess Fatal wanted to give them first pick. They want the option to pick up the 2 strong characters after. Maybe they think they'll get a healer that they want instead, but the bans look so far the same. I mean, these characters are still good on Brightmarsh as they are on Splitstone. Talus and Rom both able to pressure, make a lot of space, also hit scan, so targeting some of the controller players potentially. And Victor, gotten rid of by Ignite. That was their first pick last time. Might be trying to leave Vivian open for themselves if Fatal still ban the same way they did before.
Yeah, and Ash takes a seat here, so Ignite, an interesting position to be in. Vivian effectively perma-pick ban up to this point, so it'd be hard-pressed, I think, for Ignite to pass over her. 83% win rate so far for the Vivian. I think the numbers kind of speak for themselves there, especially on Brightmarsh. Vivian, great at controlling that space.
Especially with the dive tanks being banned by Fatal, some teams think that that's the answer to Vivian when you just play this kind of hyper aggro comp and run her down. I think she has ways to play around it, but I've seen her falter under that pressure, but they've already gotten rid of the best ways to deal with it in Rom and Ash both being taken out, but they do have arguably the best healer left in the game, plus the follow-up, the Corvus Genos comp. Great for pocketing your DPS. If they can get some flankers, maybe they can end up with that Androxus if Ignite don't take it here. They have a chance to just win the game around the Vivian and then deal with her after.
Wow, Corvus Genos. All right, so we're going to be getting double marked kind of across the board here. A fun composition already brewing for Fatal Ambition. It's going to be kind of 2 different mindsets through the first couple of picks here. Ignite going all out for the offensive picks. Fatal Ambition taking away the sort of pocket marking healers, so more defensive healing on their side. And Androxus is going to continue that theme. So Ignite with 1, 2, and 3 here have drafted Vivian, Cassie, and Androxus. Is that a mindset you get behind?
Yeah, I think triple DPS is totally playable on this map. They have that verticality, they have the double backline to lock down both lanes, and I think Fatal Ambition smartly respond with Inara. They can have that a lot of sustain on point, plus the double pocket. Inara can do a ton of damage on whoever tries to fight her, and now it's up to what DPS they want to go with these double pockets, and these are the most important picks, in my opinion. I think Buck could be an option, but Koga instead. I mean, Koga, strong and controller ranked against some players, but I do not really like it into Androxus Cassie. I feel like he struggles so much into strong burst damage, and good players playing Andrew and Cassie, they have that in spades.
This will be our first data point of Koga here for the PPC. Fatal Ambition in a pivotal game, really to kind of keep this set in their control. These best-of-5 sets, you go down 2-0, very difficult to turn them around. Now, Atlas, an interesting pick as well. We have seen him kind of prioritized in that off-tank conversation. Maybe hasn't quite hit some of the marks, still very cooldown dependent, I think, there on his side, but solo tanking here against what we've seen from Fatal Ambition, is that a pick that seems to make some sense?
I think it's totally playable. Solo tank Atlas, rush Chronos, run that Phantom Pain shield reset with all the healing cards, and you can sustain really hard into Inara. The issue is going to be when that Atlas, gets run down by Koga and Lex. If they don't have the pressure to protect him, if they try to play on the other side of the map, that Atlas is going to get overwhelmed, especially if they can avoid his setback. Fatal Ambition with 2 grounded flankers, Ignite might be able to play the high ground game, but the amount of damage and aggression, if they can get in, might be overwhelming.
Ignite Gaming run away with game number 1, 4-2. We're going to head on to Brightmarsh for game number 2, see if this one is a big comeback story for Fatal Ambition, or if Ignite Gaming are able to make good on the Vivian, Cassie, Androxus, Atlas, Maldamba composition they've built. The damage in spades for Ignite Gaming, but sustain as well for Fatal Ambition. Krez, you got to imagine it's going to be difficult to burn through this Inara with a Corvus and a Genos marking her up throughout the game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for them, but they have Vivian, they have Cassie. If they run big game, maybe they can burn through that health pool even faster. I'm more concerned about how, for Fatal Ambition's side, how those flankers are going to be able to get in. Basically, I think that if Ignite stays defensive enough and if they protect their Atlas, it's going to be hard. But I think they have decent characters to get pocketed. Lex specifically, we're seeing him a little bit in NA. You run him with Discovery, you run him with that bonus lifesteal on the marked targets, that 50% plus the 25% from the Corvus with diminishing returns, plus the damage boost stacking. That Lex can be a menace to deal with if not checked.
Absolutely, my goodness. Koga melts through Deja Vu. So a small win for not PS1 already, but there's some sustained dash forward. The first big 1v1 engagement we've seen. Neither team worse for wear, but look at Fatal Ambition. They've already gotten themselves halfway there to point number 1. Ignite Gaming haven't found the push right back in just yet. Have found some good health. Deja Vu still on the high ground. Not PS1 unable to shoot through the shield there, so Penny buying some space for Deja Vu, and maybe that's what Ignite Gaming need to move themselves in, but still climbing for Fatal Ambition. Groundford has just lived rent-free on this point through the first 75% or so, and Ignite Gaming haven't been able to do anything about it.
And Atlas just can't contest him. He's running Temporal Divide. He basically doubled the cooldown practically of his sustain just to help his team only sometimes on the flank. So misstep there, but another misstep from Headed. Playing on the flank, just got disengaged, and you can't slide in the air as Lex, so he had no escape. Cassie and Vivian just melted him out.
Well, this is the largest advantage we've seen positionally up to this point this game, and it's Ignite Gaming who are in control. Counter will have to, or the reversal rather, will have to go up. 78% for Ignite Gaming, so really closing in the mark that Fatal Ambition have set. First ultimate starting to swing through. Scout tossed out. That's the second chance used now. Koga ultimate popped as well through time and space. Dodge rolled away from by Kubies. In goes the Dread Serpent, and it buys big time for the rest of Ignite Gaming to roll through, but Headed has a double on the back line. Kubies has a double as well. It's a seismic crash down. That's going to get rid of the Cassie. Fatal Ambition roll through Ignite Gaming. That's only point number 1. A chance to make it 2 here on the push.
The ultimate's just hitting a little bit better for Fatal Ambition. They could have potentially had the Accursed Arm to kill the Lex on the flank coming in from Deja Vu, but now it'll come out here. No one's really there to take it. Temporal Divide won't protect him, and all the targets just ran away. They have a lot of mobility on the side of Fatal, and Deja Vu's got to think about that before he spends an ult.
Been impressed with not PS1 so far. Wasn't sure on how to feel about this Koga. But the damage is absolutely still there, and Ignite Gaming learning that the hard way time and time again. Headed as well, having a big performance on this Lex. Look at this. The gates are overrun as Fatal Ambition already make their way into the base. 1 minute and 45 seconds left. So much time to defend if you're Ignite.
Yeah, Ignite have a decent amount of room to take here. I think they need to actually get this shield forward so they can make actual pressure out of it and let their backlines take space, but the shield still being held onto, actually used really passively, and it's already over. Fatal Ambition can just engage, even down a player with all the damage they're able to deal.
Penny is going to channel the ultimate here, gets the Exile over onto Headed. Contested, 1 minute and 20 seconds left, so still a lot of time to be burnt off that clock. Ignite Gaming are going to buy some space. That's about it. Look at Headed. Just weaves those shots around to Deja Vu. Forces this Androxus into a bit of an awkward spot. Up and over he goes. Headed, of course, will have a good idea of where he is. The dash on through, maybe sensing a small tilt in the scales towards him. Big fight. Payload continues to roll forward. Penny, second chance. Deja Vu, first kill over onto Headed. Another Dread Serpent used here, and finally Groundford will go down. Not PS1 is going to trigger his ultimate there as well. Have to dash away. Not in time, though. Ornstein with the double. 45 seconds left on the clock.
These Dread Serpents have been keeping them in the game. I feel like every time they win a fight that's just been this long stalemate, it's been off of the back of a Dread Serpent. Be off the back of just flank aggression right now. Roopson, I think, way overstepped there. The rest of them actually might be able to continue this snowball forward, but Lex actually came back in. They didn't expect it, and losing Vivian's a lot of damage off the picture.
Wow, Ignite Gaming completely overrun here. This payload is close. You're going to have to keep your eyes on it. You might have to send some squishies down. Right now, the respawns are there. Ornstein has to drop down. Payload likely going to roll its way through here. Void Grip up on a Deja Vu, and Fatal Ambition. My goodness. What a start to Brightmarsh they've had.
They are just abusing the solo tank Atlas, I feel. Ignite can't really take any space for Deja Vu. He has to keep going in alone. This Atlas can't follow up at all. He only has a 21-second cooldown on his shield. If you're playing as a solo tank, you need a level of sustain, and you're just getting out-sustained by a Lex and a Koga. They are getting double-pocketed, sure, but that's still just no way to really survive through it. Ignite, they just have to hope they can win this mid-fight out of just winning a DM fight, just a DPS duel on the side, and get themselves to that Cauterize 3. Kubi's is already very close, but Ornstein had to prioritize other things to do with that Inara a little bit better. You can tell how much they're prioritizing. Penny has to get high Chronos to survive, but got Cauterized instead. They need this anti-heal if they're ever going to burn through this double-pocketed flanker comp that Fatal Ambition brought to the table.
Yeah, it's just so much, and Inara hasn't, or Groundford rather, hasn't really felt all that much pressure. Now a little bit, though, so a decent start now for Ignite after what was kind of an overrun there from Fatal Ambition towards the end. No ultimates for Ignite, though. Fatal Ambition have a couple. Now PS1 has to dash himself away. There's the Seismic Crash. Looks like it's stunned Ornstein, but Temporal Divide is going to buy some space there for Ignite Gaming now to rotate through. Groundford goes down as Deja Vu finds the big shots. Rotates back, not PS1 here. Is going to have to dash his way through. The charge on cooldown, and Deja Vu makes no mistake about it and gets the kill there. Kubi's puts down Headed. And now a chance with Fast Cap to maybe get a point.
Yeah, it depends on how quickly they can get forward, but no cap time early. Their tank is mostly support. Means that they didn't have any cap time, so they might have a chance. But Inara actually taking a lot of damage early. Has to spend all the cooldowns. She might just go down before they can go in. Yeah, great aggression from Deja Vu to find the one weakness.
Rubson is going to use his ultimate there as well. It's not PS1. It's going to have to dash in, do some damage, dash right back out. Headed right in range as well. Overtime is on. Groundford waddling his way back towards the point. Inara not the speediest. Mounted up. Double-digit HP, and finally Penny will go down. Kubi's is going to get one onto not PS1. It's a 4 versus 3 here. Ignite Gaming fighting in from behind. Maybe electing to back themselves up, but Fatal Ambition have regained control for the moment.
Yeah, no comeback means that Ignite have a chance to retake, but again, they have an Atlas. They might have to send the Andro in to get the touch or risk kind of giving him up, but a great juggle from the Megaton. They find Headed early.
And Deja Vu, a double kill now. The Accursed Arm paying off in dividends. If you can't melt through Groundford on your own, you might have to get a triple and return to him later on. Ignite Gaming, much better look here in mid-fight number 2. Double comeback, of course, on their side, but now a chance to tie the game with a push.
If anyone ever wonders why Cassies run Megaton in their build, just watch that last moment. They don't kill that Lex without it. They juggle him up, he can't slide. They're able to get that follow-up early. Looks like actually maybe some mistimed aggression right now from Fatal Ambition. Groundford going ahead of everybody else, getting dangerously low. They have double support to heal him up, but they're keeping up the pressure on Ignite. They're not letting anyone get healed.
Look at that healing on not PS1. Ornstein has to run away, and suddenly the snap of your fingers, Headed, not PS1, both back to full health here. Double kill for the Lex. This double aggression now paying off on the defensive side for Fatal Ambition. So Ignite Gaming are going to have to regain all of the ground they just lost, and then some to get this point converted. Aggressive from not PS1. He has his ultimate, and he melting down damage. The setup, beautiful from Fatal Ambition. A double kill from Headed, a double kill from not PS1. And RC Soldier will take the 5th. I love the combinations we're seeing here from the red side.
Yeah, I love how when you can play around a Koga, when you have your whole team doing it, he can make so much room because he just lives forever. If you keep getting dashes properly timed, you can cleanse Cauterize, you can get re-healed by those pockets that they have, you can just make room, become immune because the Cyclone Strike, just can get away with so much, and his pokes, decent too. He's there sitting on the right side getting super aggressive, and all this healing, they just can't finish him off.
I mean, this is absolutely brutal for Ignite Gaming. You are just getting killed on cooldown, trying to leave your base here. I mean, maybe this is a game of time, though, Krez. Like, maybe this is the sort of deal where, like, if Fatal Ambition win this point, it's 3-1. Maybe that next tier of Cauterize is where Ignite Gaming kind of tilt those scales, but they just have not had a good answer to, on one, kind of these dashes in from Headed and PS1, and then just the overwhelming sustain on the other side as well.
I mean, they both come into play because maybe they do shoot down the Koga, but then he just leaves or Headed on the side. just does that, just lives through everything. Now PS1 makes so much space, but Headed's just there to follow up with 3 kills in a row. Goes down because he can't climb walls like PS1 can, but just Groundford now alone. He might even trade out one more with all this healing.
Kubies will get the kill on a Groundford. It's a double kill here, but no chance. Well, Deja Vu will get in range, but he's going to be alone here. This would be the most absurd push I've ever seen if this one somehow finds a way to go in, but I think with the reversal being down, it gets a little bit more difficult. Still one deep in the backline, I think. Might be Headed, not quite sure who that is, in behind Ignite Gaming. We'll see the collapse here soon enough. Headed does go down. So Ignite Gaming still keeping things interesting. Penny uses the second chance here. Not PS1, looking to do some good damage to the Atlas. Now cooldownless. And if nothing else, you force Penny back. And there's the 3rd point for Fatal Ambition.
I feel like Fatal have a comp. Sorry, Ignite have a comp that I think can keep winning the mid-fights if they keep playing it the way that they were, playing off of that temporal divide, I think. Turning it in so that their backlines can take that space on the far right side. But these defenses and these pushes are going to be a much taller task for them to do, with the ability for Fatal Ambition to surround them, get in behind. They can't necessarily cover every single lane. So the double flanker, they're getting healed effectively across the map by this Corvus, and being constantly damage boost pocketed is going to be harder to deal with from every single angle. Especially when they have, again, the Soul Tank Atlas. I don't think it's bad, but I think you have to run it with Deja Vu, not the player on his team. Maybe he thinks he already has Deja Vu, so he doesn't need it. He's on Andro, but need that Deja Vu for that lower shield time. Able to play harder on the sustain, on the resets. They don't have it. But Ignite, again, they have a comp that I think can win this mid off the back of that shield.
Dread Serpent followed up by the Accursed Arm. That's good for a kill onto Headed. 5 ultimates for Fatal Ambition, so if they let off that volley all at once, it'll be difficult. But Ignite Gaming not giving them the chance, not staying grouped for some of those big AoE ults that Fatal Ambition might be looking for. The backline is not PS1. Dashes into the wall. Deja Vu, but it's a Cyclone Strike actually used this time around. Gonna buy some damage. Zeeds has to slither away. But it's 97% for Ignite Gaming. They've got the one-man advantage here on this one. Should be a good conversion, and a double kill from Kubies might do it. A triple stun, though, on that Seismic Crash. Maybe more off-screen. Does buy some time here. With overtime starting and maybe finishing here, Ignite Gaming are in control.
That exile on the backline, actually exactly what I think Ignite needed. Just get rid of the Corvus, give Deja Vu a chance to engage. They all have to turn to peel for their Corvus because he's so crucial to their game plan, and it leaves Groundford alone on an island, and he falls. It's one for them to do it, just pick off and isolate so that the pockets can't keep everybody going, and PS1 does that for him, runs into the backline, falls, and Ignite just keep up the pressure.
Yeah, a better start, I think, to this push than they had last time, instead of getting farmed on cooldown in the back of their base. So Ignite Gaming are at least happy about that. Now a chance to tie the game, go up 2-0 in the set. And I think even more so than that, probably frustrating Fatal Ambition. If they are able to convert it. But still gotta convert and then win a mid-fight. An uphill battle still for Ignite Gaming. Fatal Ambition just trying to stay alive. No game to win here on the defensive side. Headed has cooled down just a little bit. Not PS1 on the other side has as well. You wonder if maybe those cauterizes starting to tick up another tier or two, so you can make a difference. Come on, one final shot. There you go. RC Soldier goes down. Groundford knocked back here. Dodge roll off to the side. Not PS1 will fall. There goes Groundford, as it was RC Soldier on the Genos a few moments ago. That took a tumble and off to the side. So Ignite Gaming completely sweep over Fatal Ambition. And this is just going to be last-minute contest. And we're tied! Out of nowhere, Ignite Gaming have tied up game number 2.
I mean, now they're in the late game. The flankers, I don't think, get significantly worse because they just have so much self-sustain and their damage is really what matters more than anything. But the Inara, that's where I think things are kind of taking their biggest turn. I get that they did completely shut down Headed that round. He was 20-6, and now he's 20-10. But when they don't have that point pressure, it lets Ignite kind of sit, go, what are the factors we have to deal with? Who are we turning around to kill? We're not worried about the cap time. We're not worried about the healers. If they try to send someone behind, we can just collapse on them if they're not getting that cap. And that's what's happening, I feel. Groundford not able to live, even with the constant pocket, even with Earthen Guard up. So they have all this cauterize on the side of Ignite. Ultimate-wise, though, they have the Dread Serpent, which I think has been so crucial for them. They're going to get Exile fairly soon, which helped them win that last fight. And close to a lot of it, but a couple of resources spent from Fatal that they're not going to have for this mid.
Here we go. Point number 7. Either we're tied up at 1 or Ignite Gaming take the lead. A bit off the mark there from Zeeds. Dread Serpent won't open up the engagement as much as Ignite Gaming were maybe hoping for. Not PS1. Up and over. Deja Vu now looking for one onto Rubson. It's Kubies who gets the first blood of this engagement. Deja Vu stays alive. Off to the side he goes. Rampaging now is the Atlas as well. Double-digit streaks for 4 out of 5 members of Ignite Gaming. 30% on the point as well. Fatal Ambition have to fight back in.
Yeah, the Deja Vu is doing so much right now. He followed up on the Dread Serpent from Zeeds to pressure that Genos, not give him a chance to mark, and they've actually pushed them back, forced them to stack. 60%. They could wait, but it looks like they might want to go now, but DR actually spent early. Groundford can't come in, but they just disengage, and they're going to play off this Exile.
Exile 1 on the mark, 2 and 3 both off. Groundford locked down, takes some damage. Good second chance for Penny. RC Soldier, though, snipes down on Ornstein. 66 to now climbing above 12% for Fatal Ambition. Ornstein and Penny both back and respawning. You need to stay alive here if you're Ignite Gaming. This is a chance for Fatal Ambition to really take control. Kubies does end up staying alive. Not PS1, moves himself in, but has to dash right back away and headed down on the backside of this fight. Ignite Gaming suddenly flip the switch, get aggressive. Scout is out, rampaging is Deja Vu. Fatal Ambition look to be overrun. Ignite Gaming right back in control, and they may have just won the game.
Looks like it with this final fight just being headed. Somersault actually just saved them the game with that double rollout from Kubies, but they have the point. It's climbing. No one else on Fatal is even close, and Ignite, they go up 2-0 after, I think, a desperate start to that game for them. That was not an easy win for them to play at all. It seemed like they got out-drafted, but they just out-teamworked what Fatal were bringing to the table.
That's right. It was mid-push for Fatal Ambition, and then win for a mid, and then completely destroyed on the back end for Ignite, and then win, push, win on the mid-fights there. So that's got to be tough for Fatal Ambition, though maybe gives you some hope that you're able to kind of keep pace. The 22 and 12 from Headed was largely countered out by a 20-10 and 22 performance from Kubies. So you talk about guys that were able to go toe-to-toe. Headed shot out of a cannon in this game, but eventually Kubies started to hit that mark as well.
Yeah, once they gained the ability to stop the Cauterize, to stop the healing with the Cauterize, and this Cassie's a fantastic anti-flanker, so if they could isolate them one at a time, they were able to just burn them down, and then that's what happened. They kind of got a little bit out of sync, I think. Not PS1, we saw him kind of alone in fights. Can't move as quickly as Lex with that lack of movement speed, and now PS1 kind of wants to hold on to his dashes for his own sustain. So when you can't really send in PS1, Headed goes a little bit faster, Kubies just burns you down one at a time.
You know what I'm thinking this entire clip is totally off topic, but like, somebody would pick an Eevee every once in a while or something, you maybe just soar out of your base, try to back cap all across Brightmarsh, something like that could be fun. You know, all these direct damage dealers, you know, you can't fly around the backside, get on the cart and try to back cap the way you used to with some of the other compositions. Not to be though, Kubies though, despite being on the back end for the onset of this game, really helped turn things around, lock down some of those aggressive flankers that Fatal Ambition brought to the table. So 4-2 game 1, 4-3 game 2. Now, you know, if you argue Fatal Ambition keep getting better, this will be their first win in the set. We've got Stone Keep.
I think we're seeing a 4-4, Dave.
Yeah, right. Just full on tie.
We're following the pattern. Yeah, full on tie. We've never seen it before, but if there's any time to have it happen, it's going to be now, right? These teams seem really close, and this is from this Fatal Ambition team that I don't know what we were expecting from them. They were fourth place in the last phase, made a couple roster changes pretty close to the start of the season. I mean, they had a different main tank listed day one. They just weren't able to field a full roster. I'm impressed by them, honestly, I think, with how well they seem to be clicking, even with a couple of their old members still together in those DPS. But their bans still will remain the same, even on this new map. ROM taken out from them, just an aggressive tank that you have to turn around and deal with, and guaranteed space can be enough to win you the game at this level. And Talus can do the same with the true power, so Ignite get rid of him as well.
Yeah, this Fatal Ambition squad, to kind of return to your previous point, I mean, it doesn't feel like an O2 team, right? I mean, obviously, the circumstances in week 1, lost last weekend. I mean, this feels like a team, even if they're not able to turn around this one. If Ignite are able to take this set, and they're in a great position to do so, this Fatal Ambition team, it just gives you the vibe that they'll be getting to their winning ways here, maybe sooner rather than later, at least from what we've seen in the first 2 games so far of this set. So we'll have to keep our eyes on game 3. First time we'll see these teams flip pick slots. Fatal Ambition will be picking first overall, lock in the Vivian for themselves. No surprise there. Strong here on Stone Keep. Need to outpour some of that good damage to push Ignite back. So what did Ignite answer back with is now the big question. Couple priority picks still on the table here, Kresnik, and a lot in the way of where Ignite could go, and Genos is what they're going to opt for with their first of two.
Yeah, I was going to say, Corvus Genos still up, and we saw what it did for Fatal Ambition last game. They might not go that angle. Some teams don't want to play that double pocket support, but it is very strong. It wins you games in ranked, it can win you games in scrims and matches, as we almost saw before, but prioritize that aggressive character. We said that that dive can kind of make Vivian falter a little bit if you can get aggressive enough into her, and Ashe is arguably the best tank left that can do that. Ruckus has the mobility, but Ashe has the sustainability to live a little bit longer in the fight. Fatal Ambition, with this Barrack, I think they're trying to deny it from Ignite because they think it's the best point tank with Genos. I disagree wholeheartedly. I think that they still have Nando, they still have Atlas, they still have Khan. Lots of options for them, but Corvus still up. Grab that healer to go with that Barrack, a little bit more self-sustain, which he might need, and Fatal have a decent start to their draft.
What about this Barrack? I mean, we've what was it, 50% pick rate? Not at all really in that ban column. You know, what makes maybe, obviously you maybe lean towards taking it away from Ignite here. I mean, is Barrack rather in a healthy enough spot, you think, to make an impact here for Fatal Ambition outside of just taking him away from what could have been a good comp on the other side?
I just don't think really highly of him in this meta, so I think he might struggle. But against Buck and Cassie, it's not the worst comp. He struggles into hit scan, which is kind of hardcore meta right now, but Cassie, the main backline, being a projectile, definitely gives him a little more chance to survive if he can just avoid this Buck and not get chunked for 1,000 damage. More than that, actually, with the Luminary boost coming from him. He still has a chance to live with the shields, as long as he can play it well, and these players in Brazil have been playing Barrack enough to know how to utilize that. But a sniper, a double backline comp, coming out of Fatal Ambition with this Vivian Strix. Not a lot of aggression. Get that Xin to kind of fill in that lane, but it's going to be a Xin trying to stop an Ashe and a Buck. That's a big ask, even with that Corvus pocket to back him up.
Yeah, we've seen Xin, or we've seen, not necessarily specifically Xin, but we've seen a handful of champs struggle into a Buck here today. Buck, Cassie, Eevee. So it's going to be triple DPS in some regard from both sides. Genos, Corvus, so marking healers for both sides, and then Ashe Barrack is maybe the biggest difference in playstyle as far as across the board goes. Kresnik, we move into game number 3. It's Ashe, Eevee, Genos, Barrack, Cassie versus a Strix, Xin, Vivian, Barrack, Corvus. Do you like one over the other for game 3?
I actually like how they ended up with the Eevee. I was going to say Vivian can kind of struggle when the shield only protects her face and Eevee's looking for the feet the whole time. Eevee and Buck diving into that Vivian can be a tough thing to deal with, especially with no real protection. I guess Xin can come peel back, but Buck and Eevee just ignore him. They go in, make as much space as they want. I think it's about how well Fatal Ambition can play defensive on their Corvus to keep their team alive through the onslaught that Ignite are going to be bringing.
Well, I asked for an Eevee in our breakdown of game number 2, so here we go for game 3. Ornstein played Maeve earlier on in this set, really turned that one around. It was a tough start for the Maeve. Then eventually got his footing underneath him a little bit better here. So, backs against the wall, Fatal Ambition. You got to win 3 straight in order to get your first win of Phase 2 here in the PPC. I'm intrigued now to see where this Eevee positions. Already half HP. Is this Cassie? Took a strict shot around the side. In, out, goodbye, headed. Ornstein off to a roaring start here. Fatal Ambition, they're going to have to retreat immediately as Ignite Gaming find the opening kill.
Yep, Vivian can go down quick if the cooldowns aren't used, and he just literally hadn't had a chance to use a single one. I find it interesting that they're running Fortress Breaker, though. I thought they'd be more aggressive, but I guess they needed that potential cap time. But Deja Vu, not a recover in sight. PS1 takes him down.
That's the opening Fatal Ambition needed now. Scales tilt back blue. Not playing on the point just yet, though, is Groundford. Void Grip up, but billowed out by RC Soldier. Kind of a high-low situation going on here. Both teams very close in point. Capture headed, forced back as Ornstein will plug away some good shots. In goes Deja Vu, and down goes headed once more. That's Eevee starting to find some good value. It's a leap away from Deja Vu here, controlling the eyes of 2 members of Fatal Ambition. Might even end up getting a kill here as well. Ignite Gaming already 78%.
I love seeing the Eevees poke from up top too, for hitting for 1,000 with that Genos boost. That can really open the door when that's your poke. Just let Eevee do it from far away. And the Barrack loses the point tank duel. I don't know if Fatal have someone who can go touch with how preoccupied they are with this Buck and this Eevee just running rampant in the backline.
Yeah, no chance. The combinations have just been too powerful from Ignite Gaming so far. So point number 1 over to Red. Fatal Ambition, they'll get a couple of kills on the back end. And unfortunately, it's not PS1 now on a killing spree, but most of the kills that come on the defensive side after they've already lost the point. So the Strix, valuable now, but was largely mitigated in that mid.
I feel like they're just ignoring him, is what it is. If they just go another angle, kill everybody else, I mean, if the sniper can't see you, he can't shoot you. That's kind of how they're playing it. Just kill headed instead to open up the rest of the map. Now they're trying to shove into him, but actually, it's just a distraction for this Buck on the church side.
He is going to re-sustain himself back up to full. Double kill for Deja Vu. 3 kills in the turn of a few moments. Fatal Ambition swept from the map. And now 1 minute and 30 seconds left to make up some good ground here. Maybe get a conversion. Fatal Ambition only have that Spite, and of course the Corvus ult on the back end. Ignite Gaming a couple there to play with as well. Groundford immediately down on respawn. The Spite doesn't burn through the Buck, so Deja Vu still alive, has the restore if need be. Headed one final shot, getting some good healing on the back line. So everyone's still alive for the time being. Awkward positioning though for Fatal Ambition.
That almost went so bad for them. Honestly, if they didn't have Corvus, if they had any other healer, that could have been brutal, but I like this aggression of this Ice Storm, pushing RC back, not giving him any of his cooldowns, but Corvus, quick heals from him, but he moonwalks into a Cassie, he has no idea she's there.
Yeah, Kubi's was ready, and RC Soldier was not. I like this assert dominance up onto the high ground. Contest down on the low ground, though. Who are you waiting to burn through? It's Groundford. Dome Shield is going to get used here as well. This Barrack buying so much value. 4 members of Ignite Gaming looking at the Barrack, finally getting the kill, but Penny, wondering why the hell the card isn't moving forward, realizes it's the Dome Shield now that's spent. Flashbang out as well, as Deja Vu will finally get rid of the Barrack. But it looks like Barrack did his job and bought some time.
I just want to give props really quick to RC, who perfectly ended his whirl right in front of the dashing Ashe, ended up blocking her, but got a little too aggressive afterwards, had no cooldowns in front of the entire team, and gave Ignite a pick to potentially run this down with. They lose a lot of health on their tank right away, but Barrack, he doesn't know, he dies so fast without his shield, and Deja Vu picks him off.
And that is brutal. Deja Vu stays alive as well. 3 seconds left on the respawn of Groundford. No kills yet from the high ground. Headed, pouring out some good damage. In and out from the Eevee. Flashbang down. RC Soldier Headed. They both combine for a few. This is a great example of why it's so hard to push here, especially into what Fatal Ambition have. Backs against the wall and successful on the defense as this game is tied.
Double backline, definitely the better, I think, defensive composition on this map, where they really can't get around you. They can't. They're not going to be able to come around the outside and come up. And you can actually tell that in how PS1 performed there in that end. 8-1 right now. Headed, struggling, but that's how the comp's going to work. Whatever one they choose before the game starts, they say, are we diving Vivian or are we diving Strix? We're diving Vivian. Okay, Strix is going to have a good game. We just have to hope that our aggression is enough to win us the game, even with a kind of uncontested Strix. You can see how many more credits he has than everybody else, too. Already a caught 3 with 200 more in the bank, while Headed's only a caught 2 with 430, still needs 300 more. I think a lot going on there. They just might need to focus the Strix instead, potentially, with this Vivian not really being able to burn through anybody on the side of Ignite.
Well, it's on this mid fight where PS1 kind of shied away from a lot. It's now going to have to be a little bit more impactful. Doing a good job so far. Half HP on a couple of the squishy members of Ignite Gaming. Shield maybe missing here soon from Penny. Groundford not on the point just yet. Will make his way back in. As Ignite Gaming pushed back by the damage of not PS1. Blink through, waiting for maybe on the back end. Deja Vu, though, finds the opening kill again. This Buck has just had his way on the other side of these fights with the backliners of Fatal Ambition. The flank engagements have really been going for Deja Vu up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to use the Spite. He tried to get in with it, but wasn't meant to be. The dive, actually, Headed trading is a big deal, especially with the respawn, so they keep themselves in an even 4 versus 4. And this Ashe kind of struggling to stay sustained on the objective, but Ignite, I just feel like they're a spring being held back, waiting to pounce, but it looks like Fatal might be the ones to go first.
Roopson, though, falls to Zeds. Little support action there. So it's a 5 versus 4 as Ignite Gaming find themselves an advantage. A nice Storm waiting in the wings in just a couple of seconds. Sentinels from Headed, ripped through, but Ornstein trades out 1 for 1 so far. Ignite Gaming right back onto the point. RC Soldier trying to lock down Deja Vu, but the sidestepping just enough. Ornstein killing spree. Not PS1 is down. Big kill over onto the Strix. That's going to give Ignite a massive opening now to really gain control of this mid-fight space. RC Soldier, half HP, has to billow away, assert dominance up and down. Groundford has to rocket boots his way out of the fight. Sustained now by Rubson, but it's the Buck Wild as RC Soldier left alone. Not PS1, finds the snipe over onto Ornstein, and Corvus will send down the ultimate down onto the point as the shoulder bash is used defensively by Penny.
They just keep staring at Deja Vu and letting him do whatever he wants. Look at this, he jumps into the back. Everyone's kind of squished on the side of Fatal. They're all so low, and they can't get rehealed because of the pressure on the Corvus. Kubi's finds too.
That's a nice double from Kubi's. Overtime is on. RC Soldier dashes through, and maybe a third. But the Billow will buy some time. Overtime is on. Not PS1 gets the kill onto Deja Vu. Kubi's trying to hunt him down. But Ignite Gaming hold on long enough to grab their second point of the game. A chance to make it 3 on the push.
Yeah, Deja Vu just made so much room for them. I don't think I can state it enough with how much they were staring at him. Deja Vu just absorbs the Xin pressure the entire time, so their Cassie stays relatively uncontested, able to shoot at the other backlines. Hard trade to win, but still not unwinnable. Managed to trade out into Penny, but they have to give up their Barracks life for it.
It's a nice couple now for Fatal Ambition. Remember, the high ground was just too much to break through for Ignite Gaming, so as much time as you can buy here if you're Fatal Ambition, it's going to be just increasing the percentages that you're going to win when it comes to base defense time here. Ignite Gaming still 1 minute and 45 seconds, so flashbang up to the high ground, finds some value, but Deja Vu well-timed, jumps onto headed. RC Soldier is going to get Void gripped up here. The sustain enough, but not enough on the end of it as Ornstein finds the kill, and Ignite Gaming continue to roll the cart.
And they have the shield to play with here, so they can just hold this ground until they're ready to engage. Actually, Eva's actually going a little bit early. I'm surprised, but shots are hitting on PS1. They can at least chunk him down, force the healing to be focused on that sniper instead of everyone else that they're shooting. As Barrack tries as much as he can to slow this down. Once his shield's down, they can just walk in, and I think that might be what they're waiting for. It's down, and Buck Wild coming in on the other side.
Buck Wild on Spite use another assert dominance onto the high ground, but Penny, they've got support this time around. Groundford being collapsed upon by a couple members of Ignite Gaming. They get the kill on Azid. Small win there as RC Soldier stays alive, but Deja Vu fully on the chase. Kubi's will gun him down. So the respawn's there from Fatal Ambition, but this is where Ignite Gaming ran into trouble. You've got so much damage pouring down to you, and not a lot without that assert dominance to dislodge. The Ice Storm may be used here. There is a Dome Shield waiting, if need be, from Groundford. Not PS1 goes down. Shoulder bash locked into an awkward spot. 1-for-1 trade here. 30 seconds remaining. Dome Shield used by Groundford this time around to keep the card exactly where it's at. 20 seconds left now on the push. Ignite Gaming seem to be backpedaling.
They can actually fight this with the Dome Shield they managed to force, but they can't lose Deja Vu. Brutal from Groundford for Ignite. They needed that sustain. Deja Vu's been so crucial to this, but and they used the shield early too, actually. No, Penny spending resources on this backside, and they have to rely solely on Evie, I think, to contest this point.
Wow, nobody gets in range. I mean, that has got to be frustrating for Ignite. I mean, now back-to-back times you've gotten this cart inches away. This game could be over now if you're able to capitalize on the previous confirms, but it's almost pesky from Fatal Ambition staying alive up on the high ground. Not PS1 has done wonders here in this game. 20k damage higher than anyone else. 12-5-2, the only positive member of his team. And Ignite Gaming still searching for a payload push that likely would have changed the face of the game, but here we are tied at 2.
I mean, you're not disappointed if you win every mid. I mean, at the end of the day, if you win every mid and lose every push, you still win the game. You're never going to lose on a defense. So they just have to make sure they don't get adapted on by Fatal. But Ignite, I feel like they have the better comp to execute. They have these flankers. They have this mobility. They also have a scout on Kubi's to counter whatever comes in from them. There's nothing tricky that Fatal can pull when there's full wall hacks on the whole team. Look at this. They spent a spike just to rotate and chase Deja Vu, but he could just run away, and they're just surrounding them with this bucket Eevee.
Yeah, somehow RC Soldier's the one that's actually worse for wear. Nice shot there from Not PS1. He's going to keep Kubi's in off to the side. Flashbang waiting. Oh, another kill. Barely gets away. You're buying space, so if nothing else, that's a win here. But Ignite Gaming just building up some of those ultimate charges. You need to win big here if you're Fatal. You're buying time with your ultimates, but only 36% so far on the point. Ignite Gaming, the staying power is there. Sentinels now spring forth from headed. Looking for some damage, but not PS1. Big first pick here for Ignite.
Yeah, brutal for Kubi's picking him off. Now PS1's been so key to what they're doing. Ignite actually almost straight out their key player, I think, but he lives, and RC doesn't have a defensive cooldown. He just dives him and burns down. They try to chase him with Headed, but a perfect Void Grip keeps Deja Vu alive.
Uh-oh, Headed, you're getting jumped on here, my man. The knockback, Deja Vu, shoots him out of the sky, and now Groundford has to rocket boots away. 69% stalled out for Ignite Gaming. Restore used around the side. Now building back up through time and space. Could peel off. If Fatal Ambition look to move themselves in. One support ult down. Zeed's low, but able to walk his way around the side through time and space. Forces a couple members of Fatal Ambition down to the low ground. Overtime is on. No Groundford to try to recapture. And Ignite Gaming, after they reset overtime, they're going to get their third point. A chance to win with this push, but has not been easy.
That time and space near the end of the fight was so good for Ignite. I mean, it didn't get any kills or any damage, but it forced PS1 to go on the low ground, giving up that really kind of advantageous position. And hurt them in the end, but look at this bulk up. The bulk up tanking through all that. Even after the nerfs, Buck still can sustain quite a bit. Not enough, though, to live once Caught threes in the picture. And another spike misses from RC. He has to be paying more attention to who he's going for with these.
I mean, this is basically a run back of what we've seen, though. I mean, even if Fatal Ambition lose a couple of kills here, they realize all they really need is that one defensive stand-up on the high ground in the back of their base. And they'll likely win the defense. So, Ignite Gaming, despite being able to pick up a kill, you almost need, like, full team wipes early on here to fully stagger out Fatal Ambition. Hasn't happened just yet. Maybe the opportunity, though, as RC Soldier continues to lock down the right-hand side.
It's a tough corner to hold, because you have to keep your people spread on high and low ground, and if that happens, that's a way for them to dive into you. Great Megaton. Great blast shot to knock him in. But look at this. They're playing on the far right side, so the point ends up being open. Fatal trying to dive on it. Zeed's might just live this. He can see around the corner, but the peel doesn't come in time.
That's right. 3-man collapse from Ignite Gaming. That opens up the door for not PS1 to find the shot on the Deja Vu. Roopson up on the high ground, charging up his ultimate as well. Have it on the defense. Maybe the best of the defense has looked for Fatal Ambition so far. Ignite Gaming have not made up nearly as much ground as they had around this time in previous pushes. RC Soldier's going to whirl himself through. Low health across the board. Can Ignite Gaming find a kill nonetheless? Buckwild used here. Roopson, not PS1 down. The Buck stays alive. Finally, Kubi's will fall. A silver lining. RC Soldier uses the counter. Spite no good here. Deja Vu, he's come to play as well. Billow in, but back to base he goes. There's a big wipe. So now Ignite Gaming are going to make up some ground.
Genos makes such a difference. I was looking at the health bars of Ignite because I felt like no one was above half, and everyone was like at a quarter HP.
Oh!
But it was enough. Time and space gets headed. This is the best look they've had to push.
Now's the time, Ignite Gaming. Time to push this advantage. Deja Vu, though, might get taken down. In goes RC Soldier, gets the kill, trades it out 1 for 1. Dome Shield spent now on the card as well. Things looking dire, black and white even for Ignite Gaming. Grayscale goes the screen of Ornstein here. Groundford will get rid of Penny. And once again, Fatal Ambition strong on the defense, but they spend a Dome Shield. It's going to be missing here for point 7.
I shouldn't have even been excited, Dave. I know what they have to push into on the other side. They had a Vivian gone, but they've had Vivian gone all the other times. And the defensive positioning from Fatal Ambition with the comp they have, it's just too much for them to overcome. Ash just can't live under the pressure from the respawning Vivian, from the Strix that's sitting there the whole time. It's just too much, I think, for them to deal with. Even though I think Barrack does have a disadvantage in when the fight is kind of even. Barrack has way better cover that he can utilize when it gets a little bit closer. So Ignite, they got to be feeling confident. Even after losing all of those pushes, they still have been winning every single mid. Fatal Ambition spent a lot of ults for that defense. Only have the Entropic Breach, really. I'm not even counting Spite as an ultimate at this point. How RC has been having to use it before. Scout used early and Ignite. Pounce, ready to pounce.
See Soldier up to the high ground here. It's been a lot of, can you lock down that PS1? Groundford so low. They haven't been able to finish off the kill. The assert dominance around the side is going to buy space on the low ground for Ignite Gaming, but no kills as of yet. Good shot over under Roopson. Forces his Corvus into the corner, using some of that mobility to teleport one side to the other. RC Soldier is going to go into that Billow here. Tense moments, neither team wanting to give up too much. Ignite Gaming have built themselves up a nice lead. Here's the dive. Deja Vu and Kubi's. A couple of kills. RC Soldier is going to pull back one. That's on to Penny. Void Grip up onto ground for this Barrack cannot be allowed to live, but RC Soldier wreaking havoc in the backline. It's a double so far from the Xin. Big 2v1 opportunity here. Headed, though, a little bit low. Fatal Ambition regain control, but are not building up all that much.
Yeah, actually, they slowly took position, and then Fatal Ambition, even after losing some, RC was able to pounce and retake that. But now PS1's already respawned. They have to be paying attention. XZeeds peeks him without knowing. They're getting cap time right now, though, 84%.
Oh.
They could just steal this away, potentially, and with a Vivian down, it looks like they have a chance to.
Night Gaming, best opportunity to finish the set that we've seen so far. RC Soldier, Void gripped up, 87%, but it's still Fatal Ambition that are building up the percentage, not PS1. Goes down to Deja Vu in the backline. Rubson slowly drifting his way down, and Zeeds will snipe him away. Ignite Gaming buy the space, and they buy the win. Fatal Ambition, it's an 0-3, but 4-2 was the least close this was. 4-2, 4-3, 4-3. So Ignite Gaming do get the win, but very close to an 0-2 team, now an 0-3 team here in Brazil.
That's how they looked against Parallax last week, too, so props to Fatal. They just need to win those last fights. They just gotta win 3-3s. It's been a struggle for them, and I thought their retake strategy was decent, the way RC kind of took space behind them, but at the end of the day, I think Ignite just had the better draft for Stone Keep. It's a map where you want to be at least a little vertical, and having this Eevee and this Buck, you just constantly kept seeing Deja Vu wanting to fight someone, RC trying to fight someone, Deja Vu jumps away, and then he just sits there on the low ground without any real space gotten for his team at all, just cooldowns wasted.
I like the combinations that we saw here from Ignite. I mean, I am blinking at the very beginning of that game, and suddenly there's no more Vivian, so I was surprised. I can only imagine Fatal Ambition were as well. I think ground for tough sledding on the Barrack here this game. Always will be when the rest of your team kind of gets overrun time and time again. But I always love seeing Eevee, and it's nice to kind of see her work out in a meta where we've maybe shifted towards more hit scan.
Yeah, on maps like this, you can really get away with it. When you want to get aggressive, I still think she's a fantastic pick, because she's one of the safer ones, right? If you want to go aggressive with a Maeve, you're still committed. You have to spend a lot of cooldowns to get out, but Eevee has that wormhole. Get in and out so free, even chasing with the sword. A lot of flexibility in there, and I think with that, Ignite had different choices they could take on the mid-fight, play it slow, take space on the sides, or just hard dive. They did it both ways, and it worked every time.
So that is the Brazilian set in the books for us here for the PPC Thursday. We're going to move over to EU here in a little bit, but you start to look now back at this schedule. Ignite Gaming still remain undefeated over here in the Brazilian region. Very strong performances from them. Clown Fiesta, you know, kind of a similar team over in Europe, was able to find the win. For the moment, Ignite Gaming in first place over Parallax. Looks like Parallax, you know, if those standings are updated properly, maybe ended up facing a loss earlier on here in Brazil. So we start to look towards North America, Kresnik, some fun matches, I think, to be sure, over the horizon here today. What are your takes, though, overall, maybe an overarching viewpoint on North America as a region, how contested it might be over there at the moment?
I think they're just willing to experiment over in North America, and I love seeing that the teams that have been here kind of grinding are the teams that are showing up and kind of successful. We've seen, I think, Snappin' and Pickled Pepper as the biggest standouts for me, personally, coming from there. But Sanguine, I think, still looked strong to be playing against Prolific, a team that, before they got sponsored by an org, actually took them down a couple times in the amateur tournaments, and I'm excited to see if Prolific can do it again on the bigger scene.
That's right, and no bigger opponent to be going up against with a chance to do it here. Sanguine, not only the mid-season, or not only the North American champions, rather, from Phase 1, but the mid-season champions, to be sure there. So that's a fun one to keep your eyes out for over in North America. We're going to take a quick break, swap some people out, and we'll be right back with Sanguine versus Prolific.